Daily,
Since it appears you're calling back into
daily.
a live show, we are
What up,
reconnecting you
y'all?
now.
Yeah, and it's going down like that. It's going down like that. What's going on, y'all? Daily Go Get 'em in the show all up in your area. Pretty Petty Tuesday. Let's get it popping. Yes, it's going down like that. We're going to talk about something at this particular time. It's really going down tomorrow. What we going to see, and if it does, they will be sorry. They ain't really like it was last year, but we gonna see if they ready to be the beast of the East. Tonight we talk about if these cats get violent over Trump this time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what y'all gonna do. I want to see what the state is going to do. Yes, the GOP, these right-wing militia groups, they pissed off about the treatment of their fearful leader. I would like to say fearless leader, but he obviously has a lot of fears. All right, so if you didn't know, if you don't follow politics closely, Donald Trump's Florida Mar-a-Lago estate was raided by the FBI yesterday, and many of his supporters are pissed off about it. They're saying that this is an illegal search and seizure. They're saying that this is a political ploy by the Democrats in order to keep Donald Trump from getting elected again and to keep something going from last year. So we're going to take a look at it because this is real stuff, because they're talking about getting violent. If it wasn't for the fact that they're talking about getting violent like they did on January 6th last year, this probably wouldn't be a show and it wouldn't be a thing and it wouldn't be a big deal, but it is. So we're talking about basically taking up arms and threatening violence or perpetrating violence for a former president. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Well, maybe. And obviously to some it may be. But we're going to see what this means to you and me, and we're going to go through it. It's going down like that. We're going to talk about it tonight. Yeah, and I'm at the bat. We're going to head home. Yeah, the dome is getting crazy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily, the daily go get it missing show. Listen, I want to get straight into it tonight. Listen. These cats are talking about, getting violent. They are talking about civil war. They are talking about taking up arms and doing whatever, rioting, hurting people, descending on political public buildings or whatever, because they feel like the raid on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate yesterday is illegal. It's politically motivated and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, when you start talking, it's one thing when you start talking about who's a favorite of who and who has political clout and all of that kind of stuff. But when you start getting in police business and talking about who shouldn't have the right to do searches and seizure and things like that, it's one thing when you're talking about when black people are talking about the political or personal motivations against other black people. Well, should I say racial motivations? But this is not a racial incident. We're talking about a former head of state who was known for acting inappropriately. Even if you agree with what somebody does inappropriate, can you argue against whether it was appropriate or not? You either followed the rules or you didn't follow the rules. And Donald Trump is a known rule breaker. So now we are left to deal with many of his antics from when he was a president that still spills over into the American public now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those America the Beautiful USA type touting people. I'm not about that life, but I do believe in freedom and justice. Although me and my people have never experienced freedom and justice, or we experience freedom and justice on a much smaller scale and a much lower level than other people experience freedom and justice. It doesn't take away my passion for freedom and justice to be given or reward or awarded. So, what are we talking about here? Last year, as many of you may remember, all of you should remember, really, last year, here we were on January 6th at the confirmation of the presidential election results of 2020. And as you know, Donald Trump was running around here telling anybody who would listen that the results were fixed, they were false, and that the election had been stolen from him. And he told a bunch of his supporters that yeah, y'all should we're gonna go and stop these election results. We're gonna go get them reversed. Mike Pence, who was the vice president of the United States, he should do everything in his power to stop the confirmation, reverse the results of the election. Now, whether you believe that the election results were true, false, or whatever, what gives the average American citizen the power to determine what's right and what's wrong and to hold court in the streets? Well, it gives them no power to do that, but that's exactly what happened. Court was held in the streets. A bunch of thousands of Trump supporters descended upon the Capitol building in D.C. They broke in the building, breached the building, as as they say, and a couple of police officers were actually killed in the melee. Police officers. I've never seen a situation where police officers were killed and it gets swept under the rug. But Capitol Police, who worked at the Capitol building, 2 of them were killed. And many people have been arrested. Some have been charged and convicted already over after the whole riot thing. But people got hurt. A couple of people got killed and more people got hurt. And last year, the difference between this year and last year is nobody declared on social media that they were going to get violent. They never straight up said that. This year they're doing that. This year, the one of the tweets was a threat that said, "This means war. Yet tomorrow will be war. Sleep well." Well, that's not something that can be taken lightly, because we know that a lot of people don't make idle threats. A lot of people say what they're going to do, and they actually go ahead and do it. Especially in this city that I come from. I come from a violent city of Philadelphia, and the murder rate in this city is off the chain. And people really talk about what they do in this city. You have the drill rap. But listen, I'm not going to get into all of that. What I want to talk about, and what I'm going to talk about tonight is, what are we going to do as citizens if these cats get violent again over Trump, or over the injustice, or the declared or suspected violation or mistreatment of Donald Trump, the former 45th president of the United States? What are we going to do about it this time? As personal citizens, we have the right to defend ourselves. I don't know if we're going to be a target. But if politicians are going to be the target, What about that? What are they going to do? Last year, when Donald Trump was still president on January 6, 2021, he refused to call in the National Guard to help with the situation where a bunch of politicians were in a lot of trouble, particularly his vice president, Mike Pence. So if they go to the Capitol building this year or however and wherever they decide to start tearing up shit, what is going to happen? Remember in the beginning of the pandemic when the lockdown first started and they were trying to get everybody to honor the curfew, and in many American cities and towns, they had to have the military go out to make sure that the streets were clear, trying to make sure that the spread of this virus didn't get out of hand. Well, is that what's going to happen tomorrow? Because we don't exactly know exactly where any violence is going to ensue, if any violence ensues at all. We don't have a central location like a Washington, D.C., like we had last year. This year, we have an overwhelming obligation to make sure that you pay attention, that everybody pays attention to what's being said and what may be done here this time, to, for the safety of the American public. So what's good? I want to know what y'all think tonight. I really want to know what y'all think tonight. What if these cats get violent? What if they start tearing up shit, burning shit, rioting? The same thing that they say only black people do. What if they start doing this? What if they really do act out like this is a civil war? And in a war, people get killed. People get shot and killed. That's what happens in war. No way around it. You don't have a war where there's just words exchanged and legal documents. That's not a war. In a war, people get killed from both sides. Both sides strike the other side and try to gain an advantage. And the way that the war is won is when too many people have been eliminated on one side and not enough people have been eliminated on the other side. Is this going to happen tomorrow? That's what I want to know. Well, they said this yesterday, so actually it should have happened today. But it might be a day grace period. I don't know. What's up, y'all? How y'all feel tonight? Stacey White, Cal Chamberlain, Leslie Harris, Emily, Ja Biggs, T. Carey Wright. Good to see all of y'all. What do y'all think about this? Do y'all know about it? They're saying that the FBI is politically motivated. They talking about defund the FBI. Like, now y'all want to defund some? When we was talking about defund the police because they was whooping niggas' asses unjustifiably, kneeing people to death on their necks in front of everybody. When we was talking about defunding the police in that way, and because of those things, then we was wrong. That was ridiculous. Now y'all talk about defunding a federal, the feds? Yeah, a federal branch of investigation. What? The FBI, like the FBI has ever been super popular. I don't know any work that the FBI has ever done that was popular with everybody. Like, oh yeah, that's great. Because they look into people. They have employed tactics since the J. Edgar Hoover days, where they got in everybody's business, right or wrong. They reported things that weren't right. They were directly responsible for COINTELPRO, making the Black Panthers look like a violent terrorist organization. They were directly responsible for breaking up the Black Panthers and ruining people's confidence in the good work that they were doing. So now it's on them. and they ain't feeling it. What up, Aisha K? Let me see. Job Biggs, your support to have been ready and prepared already. When it comes crunch time, it's too late. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, these are the things that you have to take into consideration. Last year, I don't think that most people thought that the Capitol building was going to get stormed, infiltrated, breached, rioted, looted. They took shit out of there. But I'll tell you this, that meant something to me because if American citizens can go rogue to the point where now we're doing this to each other, sure, we go and loot, raid, and pillage other countries. But when we start doing that to ourselves, if black people didn't think that they were safe before, yeah, well, they overdoing it now. You know, because we're used to what they would do to us. But when we see what they will do to each other, that's a whole different level. What they will do to each other, they will do triple or quadruple times to us, or worse to us. And when I start lying, y'all let me know. And I'm sure that there are a few objective black people who won't see it that way. What's up, Aisha K? Good to see me some you. Thanks for coming on by. Thanks for coming on through. If these cats get violent over Trump, like at least last year, Trump could pardon people. It was dangerous for him to do so, but he could pardon you last year. He still in January 6th, he still had up until around the 19th or 20th to pardon cats. He's not the president of the United States anymore. He doesn't have the power this year that he had last year and the year before and the year before the year before. So he can't get people off the hook. His political influence isn't what it is. It isn't now what it was last year and years before. So he can bitch all he wants. He's no longer a sitting president, which is why the raid is taking place in the first place. Now, for those of y'all who don't know why this raid took place, this is what's going on. When a president of the United States leaves office, he's not allowed to take certain documents, papers, and other belongings that stay in the White House. These are things of record. These are things that are, some of them are of public record, and much of it is of political record. So it's all sensitive material. Even if it's just the way that he feels about certain politicians and things like that, because it goes towards proving a motive of certain things. So when Trump left office last year, he took a bunch of documents with him that he figured, this is my stuff, or these types of things don't need to get out, or nobody else needs to know this. And he didn't seem to understand that he couldn't take those things with him. Now, many of these documents will serve as proof that of his involvement for the January 6th hearings that have been going on and that will be proceeding forward later on. But many of us already know what role Donald Trump played. But it's not about what we know. It's about what can be proven in court. And in order to perform a search and seizure of any property, you have to get a warrant that has to be signed by a judge. And in order for the judge to issue a warrant for a search, there has to be proof given that whatever you want to search for is either hidden there, has been taken there, stolen, whatever the case may be. So that's what we're working with. That's what we're working with. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, was good. Norris says, apparently I'm being monitored, considering my first targeted comment using the N-word isn't seen by you. Oh, really? Yeah, because I don't see it. Well, nobody said that YouTube don't be censoring stuff and all of that. They have definitely watered down many of their yeah. But like I said, black people are used to being treated this way. We're used to having to find our way around certain things. We're used to having to defend ourselves against certain things, or we're used to having to fight for our justice, and we're used to losing too. Honestly, just keeping it a buck. But what are we going to do about this? You know, is the military going to get involved this time? Are we going to have strategic military areas that we monitor to make sure that if the shooting starts, then we can shoot back? What will we do to quell this situation? What will be done to make sure that we don't have a January 6th everywhere or anywhere in the United States again? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, I'm not a Trump supporter. I never liked Trump way before he ever became president. But I realized that a lot of black people suffer from Stockholm syndrome, and they don't have it in them. They don't have it in them to not praise the white man. But this is bigger than that. This is bigger than that. This is not a black or white thing, because when they're talking about rioting, when they're talking about getting violent, they're actually talking about going against the state, going against the United States of America. That's a big deal. It's one thing if you're just talking about, well, look, you know what? Pardon my candor, but it's one thing if you're talking about burning black churches or shooting up a bunch of areas where black people are and are racially motivated reasons and things like that. That's one thing. But when you start pointing the finger at the United States government, and you start talking about being an anarchist, well, that's a different conversation, I think, isn't it? Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Listen, the election results of 2020 have been confirmed, and they are what they are. They've done a ton of investigation to see if there was evidence sufficient enough to reverse the results, or to at least show some proof that there was election tampering in the 2020 presidential election. Donald Trump lost the shit. He lost it fair and square, and that's the problem. He lost. Many people didn't think he would win in the first place. Even going back into 2016, I didn't think he would beat Hillary Clinton, and I can't stand Hillary Clinton, but I thought she would beat him. Well, he won. The American public don't want to see a female president yet. They ain't with all of that. Like it or lump it, that's what it is. The American public is not trying to see a female president. All the feminists, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's facts over feelings. It's not your time yet. Maybe one day it will be your time. It ain't gonna happen with Kamala Harris either. Black people don't even like her. It is what it is. But she is a black woman. You know what I mean? All that taking away somebody's blackness, we need to chill all that out. You know what I mean? We got too many of us. We got too many black people who don't want to be black. You know what I mean? Ain't no way I'm going to be keeping people out. Ain't no way I'm going to be keeping out light-skinned blacks of mixed origin who actually want to be black. Not that she want to be, you know what I mean? She is an AKA. She got to be some kind of black. I mean, she an AKA. It ain't like she tried to join Tri Lambda or, you know, Phi Beta Epsilon or something like that. I mean, she pink and green. All right, it's the bougie black sorority, but nonetheless, it's a black sorority through and through. Yeah, everybody ain't got to be Delta Sigma Theta or Zeta Phi Beta. Shout out to Sigma Gamma Rho. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Bougie black sororities matter. Shout out to Kappa Alpha Psi. But anyway, so the election results are what they are. You ain't gotta like it. You ain't gotta love it. But when you start talking about shooting people, hurting people, kidnapping people, hanging people, and all this old crazy stuff because you didn't get your way. Especially when you can't prove personally that anything inappropriate ever happened. Listen, if somebody like Joe Biden won fair and square. Because Democrats, I'm going to just keep it a buck. Democrats ain't smart enough to steal elections. They're not. Republicans are. They have historically been smart enough to steal elections. That's why they always redlining districts. That's why they always trying to interfere with the voting process. That's why they always telling people not to vote. Because they know all of their people do vote. Democrats often think that they're going to win on straight numbers. Like, well, they're more registered Democrats, so if everybody votes, then Democrats win every single time. And they're right. But the thing is, all registered Democrats don't vote. You know, Democrats get in their feelings. Republican voters don't get in their feelings. They support and vote Republican time after time after time. If they secretly vote Democratic, they keep their mouth shut about it. You hardly ever hear any GOP member talk about, well, yeah, I even though I'm a Republican, I voted Democrat. You don't hear them saying that shit. They be like, party is party. Party is party. Republicans don't even Republican politicians, they don't be turning against each other like all of that. Democrats, they do it all the time. Like, yo, yeah, such and such ain't supporting the LGBTQ. We gotta get them up out of there. You know, he's taking away women's right to have an abortion. We gotta get them up out of there. So it's funny how the injustice that black people have been experiencing for generation after generation after generation after generation after generation, 500-600 years. Now when the power structure, the people who are part of the power structure and the ones who have been enforcing all of that generational inequality and injustice, when they get a little piece of a little taste of their own medicine and they going wild, well, they don't have nobody to blame except for themselves. So what if these cats get violent? What's going to happen? What are you going to do personally? What is the government of the United States going to do? What are y'all going to do? Are we going to see the Army, National Guard, Marines? Are we going to see them in the streets regulating and making sure that nobody gets hurt? Are they going to surround the Capitol and make sure that Washington D.C. is secure? They talk about civil war. We've only had one civil war in this country. A lot of bloodshed. A lot of people died. Whole lot. Contrary to people's beliefs and what they've been taught, the first civil war of the United States, that shit wasn't over no slavery. You gotta stop fooling yourself about that. That was about money. Well, all wars are about money. But the South had a bunch of money that they were trying to protect, and they had free labor. You know how much your business can thrive if you have free labor? You ain't got no overhead. And that's what slaves were. So of course the South wanted to preserve that shit. You crazy? Abraham Lincoln didn't like no black people. He didn't. I mean, if you didn't know that, now you know. And you can look it up. It's documented. He didn't care about no black people at all. None. But in order to preserve that union, and in order for him to win that war, he was going to have some black people on his side fighting. But the North don't like to talk about that a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Couch Emily says, I really hope he's punished for all he's done. And I really don't think he will. Too many judges are supporting him. He's like the Teflon Don. For real. He has a lot of John Gotti in him. He gets away with everything. He's the Teflon Donald Trump. He's so used to getting away with everything. He's so used to pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. He's so used to outsmarting people. And he got Trump supporters are dumb as hell. I'm like, damn, y'all falling for this? Like, y'all really believe this shit? It makes me wonder, do they believe in him or do they believe in what he's selling? Is it about him or is it about what he's selling? Well, if they are bitching about his estate being raided, and which means that they're not even interested in finding out what he may have hidden, it sounds to me like it's about him. It kills me when I hear Trump supporters say, no other American president has ever been disrespected the way that 45 was disrespected. And I was like, oh yeah, tell that to 44. Like, to compare the disrespect that Donald Trump allegedly went through, to President Barack Obama? Like, what? Donald Trump brought about any dissension, disrespect, or disregard that he received. I mean, to follow a man that perpetually wore a tan in the wintertime. Like, this dude was obsessed with his appearance. Like, you don't see the narcissist. Yo, he's a tan and lamp president. Like, I'm like, y'all not paying attention to this? Oh yeah, well, that's the problem. Nobody wants to talk about what his policies were. They want to talk about him personally, and that's the problem. I'm like, man, get out of here with that bullshit. Like, appearances don't matter when it comes to him, but they matter when it comes to everybody else. Well, here comes some more appearance-based accusation. He looks like a con man to me. And there's more than enough evidence that he has conned people over the years, especially in the business world. All right, well, but since he's the centerpiece of this, since once again, the networks are talking about Donald Trump instead of anything else. Once again, since we are distracted by this, let's have at it. Let's have at it. What's going to happen if these cats start rioting? If they start shooting, beating? What's going to happen? Because the hand is going to be forced now. Somebody told you that when they see you, they're going to punch you in the face. And when they saw you, they punched you in the face. Well, you had every right and every warning to defend yourself. Of course, you know this means war. They waited too long before they called in the National Guard. Yeah, because Donald Trump was the president. He wasn't with all of that. His people was doing what he wanted them to do. And she also says that will never happen in a country. In this country, looks at that will never happen. This country looks at women as being weak and too emotional to lead a country. Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. Nara says, I remember sarcastically declaring my presidential candidacy on Facebook after 45 did. Let's see. Affirmative action, well. Carol says, we are always used as pawns. We are. Always. He says, and 45, really not intelligent, just crafty. And a lot of people really consider the ability to deceive people as being intelligence. And that's the problem. Outsmarting somebody and being smart are different. Because you can outsmart somebody. You can, quote unquote, outsmart somebody by making them think that they're going to get something that they're not going to get. Like if a woman tells a man, listen, if you buy me this and you buy me that, I'm going to give you some ass. Okay, so he buys her this and he buys her that and she don't give him no ass. She outsmarted him. But was she smart? No. That don't make her smart. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that she can add, subtract, or conjugate a verb.
60 seconds.
She just understands that if you want this and I have this, you'll probably do this for me. Simple and plain. It ain't hard. That's not hard. If I know you want something and I have it and I say, I'll give you this. If you give me that, I'll give you this. If you get, that'll make me smart. But people actually look at it that way. People think that rich people are smarter because they're rich. Well, I mean, if he was stupid, he wouldn't have been able to make all of that money. I think that that's true and false.
Ten seconds.
Aisha says, if you know like I know, you better stay protected. Defend yourself by any means necessary. Yeah. But somehow I don't think this is about us. You know, they ain't mad at us particularly this time because we don't have any power to get these things done. We don't have no power. This is not a Black Lives Matter thing. We talking about the feds. Only people that can call in the feds are the feds. The federal government calls in federal agencies in order to get the help that they need or the assistance that they need. So, black people probably won't be the intended target this time because they're not going to get anything out of beating us in the head this time. They don't mind beating us in the head. Don't get me wrong. But this will be for the money. So what are the feds going to do when these radical militia groups, when these right-wing militia groups, when they decide they want to get busy and start going eye for an eye? I mean, listen, man, the part that gets me about this thing is this is for the former president of the United States, and this cat is running around here talking about something. See, they scared for me to run in 2024. Like, man, nobody, come on, dog. You lost once. You don't think you can? You don't think you can lose again? I mean, a lot of cats had to back up off of you. You bad for business. People's association with you can get them in some real hot water. In other words, you ain't like that no more. To a lot of people, you still are. But you are outsider now. You like everybody else, except you have the Secret Service. I guess that means you're not like everybody else. But you know what I mean. You know. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What you going to do when the right-wing militia comes down on you? What are we going to do? Well, this is something that we're going to have to think about. And maybe they was just pump faking. Maybe they was just selling wolf tickets. We'll know after the day because they said this on the 8th. Today is the 9th. Tomorrow will be the 10th. Now, hold on. Let me make sure that there isn't a riot going on somewhere while I'm flapping my gums like, yo, they ain't do nothing yet. Let me make sure that we're not missing some kind of riot. Let me see if we good. We good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. All right. I don't see. All right. All right, yeah. Okay. We good. So far. Yo, fans praise Mary J. Blige and Taraji P. Henson for their natural bodies. Taraji P. got breast implants. Yeah. She been got them. What are you talking about? This is why I can't deal with celebrity news and gossip and all that kind of stuff. They ain't got no natural bodies. Fuck out of here. Mary J. Blige, well, she never had no kids. Take that however you want. But any woman that has had kids and had to struggle to get her body back or to lose the weight again, I'm just saying, it is what it is. Listen. All right, man. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Enough is enough. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious August 9th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get. Okay. Fatima Cohen, number one out the box. Fatima Cohen, go get her. Fatima Cohen turning 48 years old today. And also Tamika Briscoe, happy birthday to you, Meek. And Yvette Irving turning 34 years old today. And Danelli DDC's, happy birthday to you. And Goody NMH turning 55 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And Hope Clark, happy birthday to you. And Princess Versi Huglet turning 45 years old today. And Juanita Mitchell turning 46 years old today. And Aisha T. Green, happy birthday to you. And Kes Meniheru turning 36 years old today. And my girl, go get a Davina D.D. Davis Norris turning 62 years old today. Happy birthday to you, Davina D.D. Davis Norris. Always been down with the daily go-getimism and urban therapy with some movement. Appreciate me some you. And my girl going all the way back to the 1985, Devonna Cotman Bonner. You know what I mean? My old classmate, always been down, always been dope. Happy birthday to you. And Lisa Marie, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, go get her all the way back to the 1991 Queen Matu Mayini Monica Davis, turning 52 years old today. You know why? Because she's a 1970 baby. Yeah, with the blind, with the crippled, the crazy. Yeah. Happy birthday to you, Queen Matu Mayini Monica Davis. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious August 9th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. I hope that today finds you in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen. These cats start rioting, they start shooting, they start acting a fool, they start tying people up, they start making threats, they start delivering on the threats that they make. Well, things have to be taken seriously. If somebody threatens you just on a humbug, like, yo, you know, when I see you, I'm going to do this, that, the third. Or if you don't do this, that, the third, I'm going to make sure that your family suffers this, that, and the other third. You have the right to go to the authorities, and authorities has the full right and consent to go ahead and arrest those people, question them, and prosecute. So why would you think it would be any different for any other legislation or any other laws? You know, just because you're the president of the United States doesn't mean that you can break laws, and it doesn't mean that you can incite riot, and it doesn't mean that just because the rioters think that they are right, it doesn't mean that they can just turn around the laws and the policies that are in place. So if it does happen, the United States government has an obligation to protect its citizens. Are they going to do it? Will they do it? Well, as it is at this particular time, at this particular moment, it looks like they might have been messing around. They might have just been blowing off some steam. They might have just been huffing and puffing. Oh shit, I blew down a little pig. That's what you get for being in a straw house. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for another Daily Go Get a Business show. So make sure y'all come through and stay tuned. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And we're going to get on up out of here. I want y'all to have a really good night. It's hot out there, but it's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right, and everything is going to be all right. Take a rest. And everything is going to be all right, and everything is going to be all right. Y'all be blessed. Word. All right, so Blog Talk, let me get you on up out of here. We go bye-bye.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Yeah, and for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Peace.